the matriarch of a powerful South Carolina family.
All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye. Casting votes on two separate governing boards, something known as dual office holding, something outlawed in the South Carolina Constitution.
South Carolina has a more aggressive form of it. The idea behind it is to prevent corruption, or probably also to prevent the appearance of corruption.
Despite multiple Attorney General's office opinions, this elected office holder doesn't plan to give up her positions of power.
Could you just give us a few minutes and talk to us about this issue that we've raised, please?
The Attorney General's opinion is just an opinion, and they're little lawyers. They have different opinions. But.
Okay.
The state's now investigating after we started asking questions.
You think she can remain on this technical college board and be an elected school board member, knowing what you know right now?
Probably not.
Well, school boards from elementary to higher education play a major role in the future of children and how your tax dollars are spent. And the people who hold these board positions hold a lot of power.
And control multi-million-dollar budgets. That's why South Carolina put a ban in its constitution preventing one person from sitting on two governing boards at the same time.
In Queen City News, Chief Investigator Jody Barnes tonight found out a politician who's been doing this for decades, holding multiple positions of power.
So this time we're honored to have the Honorable Judge Paul Birch with us this evening. He is going to come and he's going to administer the oath of office to our board members.
South Carolina Circuit Court Judge Paul Birch, robe and all, swore in the winners of last November's Chesterfield County School Board election. One of those winners,
we'll have Miss Birch that was reelected to her board seat.
The judge's wife, Kimberly Birch.
The reason it's an honor is not because my boss told me to be here to do it. It's because so many times you hear the circuit judge is the conscience of a community. It is an honor to administer the oath. If you will raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Kimberly Birch was elected to the school board in 2006.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get the meeting started, please.
Birch is also a member of the Northeastern Technical College Board. She chairs the college's Government Relations and Affairs Committee since last fall.
All in favor of the said motion, let me know by saying aye.
Aye. We worked to figure out whether Birch was voting on both the Chesterfield County School District Board and the Technical College Board.
I ask for an approval of the agenda.
Our video proved that. But was Kimberly Birch holding two offices in violation of the South Carolina Constitution? We turned to the South Carolina Attorney General's office for that answer. The Attorney General publishes legal opinions to its website. An opinion comes after a public official asks the AG for advice on some sort of legal question. The AG then publishes the opinion, detailing how the office believes a court would rule on the question. Dual office holding opinions are so common, the AG's archive has a built-in link for the public to click to search them. In the past decade, the AG published 100 separate opinions on dual office holding. In dozens of opinions, including this 2011 opinion, the AG's office wrote, "We have determined numerous times that members of county school boards hold offices within the meaning of the dual office holding provision." In 2002, the AG's office published this opinion when asked whether a member of the Northeastern Technical College Board is subject to the dual office holding provision. The AG's office wrote, "It is my opinion that such position would also constitute an office. This office has advised on several occasions that members of the various technical education commissions would be considered office holders for dual office holding purposes." That opinion was written by the AG Solicitor General, Bob Cook, a lawyer who heads the AG's opinion section and a lawyer who spent nearly 50 years in the AG's office.
He contested personal
To check those opinions, we took our findings to someone else who knows something about constitutional law. University of South Carolina constitutional law professor Scott Barries.
But South Carolina has a more aggressive form of it. You're just banned from holding dual offices even if they don't conflict with each other. The idea behind it is to prevent corruption, or probably also to prevent the appearance of corruption.
South Carolina's constitutions ban dual office holding dating back to Reconstruction. The ban states no person may hold two offices of honor or profit at the same time. Barre says the state constitution does not include exceptions for school board members or board members of the Northeastern Technical College.
So it comes up a lot. It's a good thing that it comes up because it means that the local attorneys, the local county attorneys, or the city managers, or whoever it might be, are paying attention to whether this prohibition is being violated. Occasionally, it's private citizens that bring the issue up too, though.
Birch was appointed to the College Board in 1997 by then Governor David Beasley. State records show Birch's term ended in 1999. In the past 24 years, she's never been reappointed, holding the Technical College Board position as a holdover appointee ever since. Although the college's bylaws state no member can serve more than 3 terms or 9 years or until a successor is appointed. In nearly 25 years, lawmakers never appointed anyone to replace Kimberly Birch. Birch calls the small South Carolina town of Pageland home. It's the heart of her school board district. We asked Birch to interview with us several times for this report, but she would not agree to meet. Instead, when we laid all of this out in an email to her, Birch responded saying she's surprised her unpaid college board position, where she's never taken an oath, could possibly constitute dual office holding. Birch says she got her own legal advice from a private attorney who she would not name. Her attorney disagreed with the AG's opinion, telling Birch a court would find dual office holding only happens in cases where oaths of offices are required. Birch took an oath on the school board, but the Technical College Board apparently doesn't require one.
So a school board member who assumes an appointed position with voting power on a technical college board or vice versa, whatever office they took first, by law, they lose it?
They abdicate the office, but they still get to exercise the power of that office until legally they are declared not to be the holder of that power.
We went to Pageland to find Birch to ask her what she planned to do with what we found and if she planned to step down.
Hey, Ms. Birch. Could you just give us a few minutes and talk to us about this issue that we've raised? Please?
Birch's husband, Judge Paul Birch, the most senior circuit court judge in the state, explained his wife's disagreement with the AG's office.
Is that running?
Yeah, it's
just. What about cutting it off?
I don't know if we could do that.
But y'all don't put anything on there about me because it's none of my business.
Yeah, I know.
It would be improper for me to get into.
Well, it's just, you swore in, I will be showing that, and you being a circuit court judge, it's like, well, the public may assume you would know.
No, there is, as far as my understanding, there is no court precedent out there that would even come close to ruling on that. And the Attorney General's opinion is just an opinion, and there's other lawyers that have different opinions. But for me to say anything about how a court would rule would be highly improper. I've just heard others say, if you don't have 2 oaths of office, they don't know why those opinions are out there.
So I don't know.
That's the only thing you say is that's just an opinion, and all the lawyers have different opinions.
Sure. I guess we wait.
We waited outside that Pageland restaurant for nearly an hour so we could finish our interview with Kimberly Birch, but she did not come back outside. Coming up tomorrow morning on Queen City News, we take our questions to South Carolina's seat of power.
How are you guys?
To find the lawmakers responsible for replacing Kimberly Birch, lawmakers who dodged our request for interviews.
But if Paul Birch wasn't involved, would this be a different response from the delegation?
I don't think so.
Do you think she can remain on this technical college board and be an elected school board member, knowing what you know right now?
Probably not.
Despite what we uncovered, Kimberly Birch might not have to go anywhere.